Welcome to 734Games, and this is your host Tom. And today, I'm logging on to talk about, well, the whole console games market. And I mean, I know the title is Microsoft is buying another studio. Does it really even matter? Well, this has a lot to do with the whole video games market right now, as far as console games. Not really PC, but what's going on is what I can see is that it's always been about games with consoles. So Microsoft is trying to buy another studio. The reason I'm asking does it really matter is because Microsoft isn't really trying to buy another studio to bolster the Xbox One's first party lineup. They're doing it to bolster their services. Microsoft doesn't care about being the number one console, they care about bolstering their services. In other words, they want Games Pass to have more games, they want Xbox Live to have more users, and they want to bolster the Xbox Cloud, which we hear is coming out, which is probably a good rumor that that's coming out, a cloud-only Xbox. And they also want to put their games on PC, bolster their PC library, along with maybe even, library on iOS, Android, and even PS4. Because Microsoft does have games on the PS4, and I think in the future they want to put more games on the PS4. Microsoft is looking at the big picture as far as selling their games. They're not really in this to make it the number one console, to make the Xbox the number one console. And that's just the way it is. Now, if I were Nintendo, Nintendo has always seemed like recently they've taken to the standpoint that they can't compete with Microsoft and Sony. Although I think with the current data from this generation, Nintendo has to be they have to smell blood in the water like a shark. They have to be right now. Because if they look at this generation and they look at the data from from all the other generations in video game history, in console games history, they should be able to say, hey, what this points to is if we make enough first-party AAA games throughout the life of our console, we can have a successful console, and it doesn't matter if we don't have as much power, if we don't have the most powerful console. And that's pretty much what history and the current games climate has taught us. And really, the games need to be the first-party games. They need first-party single-player games. I mean, even when the original Xbox came out, they had multiplayer. They had Xbox Live. They launched Xbox Live, but all the games back then had single-player components. When the Xbox 360 came out, same thing. Just about every game had a single-player component, and if it didn't, it did really badly, like that Shadowrun game Microsoft put out. And that's just the way things are. It's like a company needs first-party single-player exclusives to be successful with a console. If you're a third party like Ubisoft or EA, then it doesn't matter what you make. You can make all your games always online and put microtransactions and do all the other stuff and DLC, day one DLC. It doesn't matter if you are a third party. But if you're a first party company and you want people to buy your unit, your box, then that box needs to have exclusive content. And Microsoft is not interested in making first party content exclusive to the Xbox. They're interested in making first party content that they can sell everywhere. They can sell on PC, they can sell on iOS, Android, PlayStation. That's what Microsoft is interested in. So, I mean, I know a lot of people. I have an Xbox One X. I have a PS4 Pro. And I like my One X. It's a great system, but I know that Microsoft is not interested in pushing that as their main platform. Especially a company that makes PCs. I mean, well, they don't make PCs, but it makes Windows. They're not worried about that. They want to push their services. And that's what I'm willing to bet that the next generation, they're going to concentrate heavily on getting their cloud console to sell. They're going to do everything they can. So if that means forsaking the next Xbox, the next boxed Xbox, they will do that. I think that they'll put some always online games on it, just like they've been doing with the One X and the current Xbox One, and that's going to be it. I do not see Microsoft going all in on console gaming, on especially single player games. I don't think it's going to happen. They may allow developers to make whatever game they want, but I'm sure developers that make games that have their services in mind will probably get more money and more resources toward their products. So I would not be surprised if Ninja Theory and all these other game developers that are now owned by Microsoft make all service-based games. I just, I don't see them making don't expect a lot of single player exclusives from Microsoft. And that's pretty much it for this episode of well, also I want to say is I could see it'd be great if Nintendo were to come back and make a AAA game system, a game system that put out AAA. It wouldn't have to be the most powerful system. It could be 4K 30 and 1080p 60 games, and people would still be into it. I think that, especially if they made games all the time, because Nintendo was very popular when they had a lot of exclusive games coming out. The NES, almost all the games on the NES were exclusive, except for the ones that were on PC. And the Super NES had a lot of exclusive games. When they fell off, it was with the Nintendo 64, where you'd have like 6 months without any exclusive Nintendo games coming out. And that was too long to wait, and the 64 suffered dearly for that. And that was unfortunate. And that ever since then, the GameCube as well, ever since then, Nintendo suffered. So if I were Nintendo, I'd be looking at the market saying, I can compete with Sony, because Nintendo, the Switch has shown that Nintendo can compete with the big boys, as far as sales. And they have the money, so all they have to do is put the money toward developers. Although they have to hire new developers and create new development teams. And I don't know if Nintendo is ready. Maybe Sega will do that. Sega did express interest in making a system. If you enjoy watching my videos on WordPress or watching my videos on YouTube or SendVid on Twitter, you can hit the like button, hit the subscribe, or follow on Twitter. Any of those formats I'm on those formats. I haven't been kicked off. So check out all my videos. I do videos as much as possible. I enjoy showing you guys games. And I really don't do it for any money because I don't make any money. And that's pretty much it. This is your host Tom signing off from 734 Games, where gaming is alive.